Hey, welcome to the channel. If you like stories where humanity refuses to kneel, subscribe, and stay with us. Let's begin. They thought they'd broken us. The Krath Dominion stood on the shattered hulls of our colonies, their bio-forged spires piercing Earth's sky like knives through a dying beast. Their voices, hissing, melodic, cruel, echoed across the galactic feeds. Humans fragile, fleeting, insects crawling in the shadow of eternity. They broadcast our screams, our cities burning, our children weeping in cages. They wanted despair to choke us. They wanted us to kneel. 30 seconds ago, the galaxy laughed at humanity's ruin. But they didn't know about us. On the cracked plains of New Terra, Captain Elias Kane knelt in the ash, his scarred hands clutching a shard of hull metal. His eyes, bloodshot and unblinking, traced the horizon where Krath warforms loomed. Towers of sinew and steel, their optics glowing like dying stars. Elias hadn't slept in 6 days. Neither had the remnants of the 7th Terran irregulars. Sleep was a luxury stolen by the Krath's neural disruptors, weapons that shredded rest, leaving only raw, jagged awareness. Pain was their leash. But Elias was no dog. "They think we're done," whispered Jara, the Zenari defector crouched beside him. Her forearms trembled, her bioluminescent skin dimming under the weight of fear. She'd fled the Krath's ranks, horrified by their cruelty. But even she doubted humanity's odds. "They've crushed your fleets, your worlds. Why keep fighting?" Elias didn't answer. His silence was a blade cutting through her doubt. He pointed to the ridge where the Krath's neural spire pulsed, its signal gnawing at their minds, stealing sleep, sowing madness. "We take that down," he said, voice low like gravel underfoot. "Then we show them." The galaxy watched through stolen feeds as the Krath paraded their victory. Their overmind, a sentient lattice of biotech and malice, declared humanity's extinction inevitable. "Their biology is frail," it intoned, its voice a chorus of 1,000 devoured worlds. "No sleep, no recovery. They will break." The Galactic Coalition, Zenari, Vren and others watched in uneasy silence, their diplomats whispering of surrender, of abandoning the human problem. Humanity was a footnote, a primitive species too stubborn to die quietly. Elias led his ragged band through the ash-choked canyons of New Terra. 50 humans, a handful of Zenari deserters, and one Vren outcast named Kor, whose mandibles clicked with nervous defiance. "This is suicide," Kor muttered, his compound eyes scanning the Krath patrols above. Drones hummed, their scanners sweeping for life signs. Elias ignored him, his mind a furnace of focus. Every step was agony, every breath a fight against the neural spire's pulse. His team moved like ghosts, their bodies screaming, their wills unbreakable. The plan was desperate: infiltrate the spire, overload its core, and sever the Krath's control over the planet. But the spire wasn't just tech, it was alive. A writhing mass of biotech tendrils guarded by Krath warforms. Elias's team had no ships, no artillery, only salvaged rifles and a stolen Krath disruptor grenade. The Coalition had written them off. The Krath didn't even bother hunting them. Why chase prey that's already dead? They reached the spire's base at dusk, its shadow swallowing them. The structure pulsed, a heartbeat of malice. Jara's skin flickered, betraying her terror. "It knows we're here," she whispered. Elias gripped her shoulder, his touch steady. "Good. Let it feel us." The team split, half to draw the warforms, half to breach the core. Elias led the breach team, his steps silent, his pulse deafening. The spire's interior was a nightmare, walls of flesh, veins glowing with data, eyes that watched without blinking. A warform lunged, its claws rending steel. Elias dove, firing point blank, his rifle's rounds tearing through biotech sinew. The thing screamed, a sound that clawed its sanity. Jara froze, her training crumbling. Elias dragged her forward. "Move or we're all dead." The team pushed deeper, losing two to a collapsing tunnel. Blood mixed with ash. No one stopped. They reached the core, a pulsing orb, its light blinding, its hum a scream in their skulls. Elias wired the disruptor grenade, his hands steady despite the spire's assault on his mind. Visions of his burned home, his lost family, flickered. He crushed them. 10 seconds, he growled. The team braced, but Jara's eyes widened, her voice a hiss. Elias, it's adapting. The core's light shifted, tendrils snaking toward the grenade, neutralizing it. Outside, the distraction team's screams echoed. Core's voice crackled over the comms. They're coming! Too many. The spire trembled, warforms converging. Elias stared at the core, its light mocking him. His team looked to him, broken but defiant. He pulled a second grenade, his last. We don't stop, he said, voice like iron. He armed it, but the core pulsed faster, its tendrils reaching for his mind, whispering surrender. The spire's walls shuddered. Something new stirred in the dark. Not Krath, not human. Something older. Something hungrier. The spire's core pulsed like a dying god, its light searing Elias's eyes. The second grenade hummed in his hand, but the tendrils, living, thinking, slithered closer, neutralizing his every move. The air grew thick, heavy with a presence older than the Krath, older than war itself. The walls wept black ichor, and a low, guttural hum shook the ground. Jara's skin went dark, her voice a whisper. This isn't the Krath, this is something else. Elias didn't flinch. Doesn't matter. We end this. But the galaxy was about to learn what humanity already knew. Pain is just the beginning. Outside, the distraction team was gone. Core's comms had cut to static, replaced by a wet tearing sound. The Krath warforms hadn't killed them. Something else had. Elias's team, now just 10 humans and Jara, stood in the core chamber, rifles trembling but steady. The spire's tendrils froze as if listening. Then the walls split, revealing a void, a writhing eyeless mass, its form defying geometry. It wasn't Krath tech. It was something ancient, buried beneath new terra, awakened by the spire's destruction. The Krath had been arrogant enough to build their weapon on a grave. The galactic feeds flickered. The Krath Overmind's voice faltered, its arrogance cracking. What is this? Demanded as if the galaxy could answer. The Coalition's diplomats, watching from distant stars, fell silent. They'd mocked humanity's stubbornness, but now they saw the truth. Humanity didn't just fight, they endured what should have killed them. Elias's team stood in the heart of horror, and they didn't blink. Hold the line, Elias said, his voice a low burn. He tossed the grenade into the core, but the void thing lunged, swallowing it whole. The explosion muffled, useless. Jara screamed, her mind buckling under the thing's psychic weight. A human soldier dropped, blood pouring from his eyes. Elias grabbed Jara, forcing her to stand. Look at me. We're not done. His scars seemed to glow in the core's light. A map of survival etched in flesh. The void thing spoke, not in words, but in images. Worlds devoured, stars extinguished, the Krath themselves trembling before it. It had no name, no motive, only hunger. The Krath had thought to control it, to use its power. Fools. Elias saw the truth in its visions. The Krath's neural disruptors weren't theirs. They'd stolen them from this thing's tomb, thinking they could wield its strength. Now it was awake, and it didn't care who died first. Elias's mind burned, the spire's pulse and the void thing's presence clawing at him. He saw his daughter's face, her last scream as the Krath took her. He saw every loss, every wound. He didn't break. Jara, he said, rig the rifles to overload. She stared, disbelieving. That'll kill us all. Elias's eyes met hers, unyielding. Maybe, but it'll take that thing with us. The team moved, their hands shaking but precise, wiring their weapons into a makeshift bomb. No one questioned him. They'd followed him through hell. They'd follow him to the end. The void thing surged. its form splitting into tendrils that lashed like storms. 2 more soldiers fell, their bodies dissolving into ash. Jara's skin flickered, her resolve hardening. "For the Zinari," she whispered, arming her rifle. Elias nodded. "For Earth." The Krath war forms breached the chamber, their optics wide with something new. Fear. They fired, not at the humans, but at the void thing, their weapons useless. The Overmind's voice screamed across the feeds. "Retreat. Regroup." Too late. The rifles hummed, their cores glowing white-hot. Elias stood at the chamber's center, the void thing's tendrils inches from his face. He didn't move. "You thought you'd break us," he said. "Not to the Krath, not to the void, but to the galaxy watching. You thought wrong." He triggered the overload. The chamber erupted in light, the void thing shrieking as the rifle's energy tore through it. The spire cracked, its walls collapsing. The galactic feeds burned white, then black. The Coalition's chambers erupted in chaos. The Krath Overmind went silent, its signal severed. Diplomats whispered, "The humans, they did it." But the feeds flickered back, showing new Terra's surface. The spire was gone, a crater in its place. No sign of Elias, Jara, or the team. The void thing's presence lingered, a shadow on the feeds, spreading beyond the planet. The Krath's arrogance had unleashed something worse than war. And then a single signal pulsed from the crater. A human voice, faint but unyielding. "This is Elias Kane, we're not done." The galaxy froze. The void stirred. Humanity's defiance had just begun. Everyone else saw weakness. Humanity saw a reason to fight harder.